Gold Derby fans. Well, she has been singing her heart out in Disney Plus's newest hit series, High School Musical, the musical, the series. I'm Sam Ekman of Gold Derby, and this is Olivia Rodrigo joining me. Thank you, Olivia, for sitting down today.
Thanks for having me.
So that title is this crazy tongue twister title, and a lot of the fun of the show comes across in this meta narrative of this high school cast who's filming. You're filming the show in the high school where the movie High School Musical was set, and it's a new series. So what is it like doing that? Is it difficult for you to keep track of all those meta narrative layers?
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing because I'm Olivia, who's playing Nini, and then Nini is playing Gabriella in the show, and like sometimes it's a little hard to explain to people, but I honestly think that it's so well done, and I think that having it be meta attributes this like amazing sense of authenticity and like rawness and realness. I think that if we kind of ignored the existence of High School Musical, which is this amazing franchise, that the show wouldn't be as truthful, and so I'm really happy that it turned out this way.
Yeah, it's a great documentary style filmmaking.
Yeah.
And I was curious as to what was your original relationship to High School Musical? Did you watch that? Because I mean, it came out now. You must have been very young when it actually debuted.
Yeah. I think my entire generation, and probably the generation before me and now the generation after me, kind of grew up watching High School Musical. It's just like such a phenomenon. And I totally grew up watching the films. I've always been like a musical theater kid, and I remember the music and the characters really resonating with me, and I had touring Gabriella Barbie dolls, and so I feel really honored that I get to kind of give a new interpretation of an old classic for today's generation of kids.
Yeah, kind of keeping it going in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted you to walk me through the audition process for this series, because I know you've done TV before and you've worked with Disney before in Bizarre Bark. And what was it like for this? Did they incorporate music right away?
Yeah, so I originally got the audition for High School Musical, and I was a little apprehensive at first because obviously this is such a big name, High School Musical, and they're going to do something new with it, and that's really scary because, you know, this is such a well-loved franchise, and if anybody messed with it, it would be just disastrous. And so I was a little bit worried at first, but then I went in and I read the script, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I think that they're doing such a new, fresh, you know, twist on the old classic that it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't feel like a remake at all, which is what I was worried about. And so I went in and I auditioned with Josh, and Josh and I have a ton of chemistry. We're just, you know, like best friends, and so that worked really well. And we actually sang a cover of Count on Me, my like final audition. They were like, can you and Josh sing something together? And we're like, oh my God, we like literally just met, but we like went in somebody's office, and we you know, put together this cover of Count on Me by Bruno Mars, and we figured out some harmony, and he played it on the guitar. We just like, you know, scrapped it together last minute. And it was just one of those like really magical auditions. There's a couple of like moments in my life where I've been in an audition room and like really felt in alignment and really felt like I was where I was supposed to be. And that was definitely one of those times. So yeah, it's all magic.
That's pretty intense for your first meeting with him, essentially.
Oh yeah. No, it's so fun. We totally like met many times before, but he like doesn't remember, and I still like give him crap for it to this day.
And one thing that, you know, I expected going in for there to be the songs from High School Musical, but each episode has a ton of great new material, new music in it. And you are featured on the song that I have watched back far too many times that I shouldn't admit, called Wondering with Julia Lester. Right. What was it like? Because it's really kind of blown up on YouTube. There's been covers of it. What is it like seeing, you know, the songs that you created kind of blow up in that way?
Yeah, it's incredible. I love how they do that, how they kind of, you know, pay homage to the old songs from the movies, and then they kind of have a new soundtrack of new songs that are just specific to the series. I think that's a really unique thing that they did that I really love. Wondering is one of my favorite songs in the series. I remember listening to it for the first time and just like being like, wow, like this is really amazing and so emotive and emotional, and I think people are really going to resonate with it. Anybody, like, what's so great about that song is that, like, everybody relates to that theme of, like, oh, what if I did this? Would my life be differently? Would my life turn out different? And so I just remember being like, wow, that was one of the first songs that I heard, and I remember being like, wow, okay, like, this is what we're doing. Like, we're not, like, doing any bubblegum stuff. Like, we're really taking this seriously, and the music is really fantastic. And I think Wondering is just a great example of that.
Yeah, it's something I appreciated was the fact that the series is definitely, there's comedy going on and winking at the camera, kind of like in on the joke. But it really has these, it's a teenage show, but it has these really heavy, deep emotional moments. What do you think those lyrics in that song, which are very deep, mean for Nini in that moment?
Yeah, something that I think the show does really well is that we don't underestimate young people in, like, every facet. I think people are starting to realize that that's really what people gravitate towards, is, like, young people and, like, authentic stuff. And there's so many examples of that in the show. You know, the stories that we tell, and, like, even Josh and I getting to write songs for the series by ourselves. People really, like, believing in young people and their stories is such an important thing, and I think that's why viewers kind of gravitate towards the show.
Yeah, and I saw something where you recorded stuff in the studio, but you also did sort of live takes on set. Does that change the dynamic for you? What is it like?
100%. I'm so happy that we do a lot of live takes of songs. I think it just totally contributes to that kind of rawness that the show has. I remember my first day on set, I played I Think I Kinda You Know on the ukulele, and I sang it live. And that was just a really magical moment. And I remember it really working and people believing in me so much and having it, you know, pay off. That was a really gratifying experience. And I think it really, like I said, contributes to the kind of overall authenticity of the show, which is so important.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, I wanted to go back to something you said, which was writing your own songs, because you get the song All I Want, which you wrote for your character. And congratulations, it's a great number. So
thank you.
Was that always sort of part of the deal? Did you know there would be songwriting opportunities going in, or did you push for that?
Right. Not at all. And I kind of never really heard of an actor, especially, you know, I was 16 at the time, writing a song for kind of like a major series like this. And so I had no expectations at all. But our showrunner, Tim Federle, who was just the most amazing human, he knew that Josh and I wrote songs. And he pulled us aside one day and was like, oh, like, would you ever be interested in, like, writing a song for the series? Like, no promises, but maybe you should just, like, work together and, like, mine stuff out and see what comes. And so we did that, and that's how the song Just for a Moment came about, which Josh and I co-wrote. And then towards, like, the end of filming, we went back and did reshoots, and the executives decided that they wanted a power ballad for episode 4, I think. That Nini sang, and a Disney Plus executive sent a video that I wrote and posted on my Instagram and an email and was like, oh, like, we want the song to sound like this song that Olivia wrote. And so Tim was like, well, why would we have somebody else write a song that we want to sound like an Olivia Rodrigo song, so why don't we just skip the middleman and have Olivia write it? And so that's what I did. And I wrote it in a couple days, and then I remember showing it to our showrunner, Tim, on a piano at the real East High, because it's like a real functioning school, and we, like, went up to the choir room where everyone takes, like, vocal lessons in school, and we just, like, I showed it to him there for the first time. Yeah, and it's doing really well, and I think, again, that's kind of a result of people really craving that authentic, raw, honest material, and I think that goes for everything in our show.
Yeah. Did you, when you're writing that, because you obviously have to sing it as Nini, do you pull from your own life as inspiration for lyrics, or are you just looking at sort of the script and the character?
Right. What's so great about our show is that, like, I related so much to everything that Nini was going through. I think it was written so truthfully, and I think so many people's experiences are very similar, especially like my experience as a 16-year-old girl kind of growing up in, you know, this world where people are looking at you and, you know, like there's boy problems and stuff like that. It was so relatable, and I think it's relatable to so many people, and so it wasn't really hard to write from Mimi's perspective because it was just such a, you know, a normal, natural thing that, you know, so many people go through. But I do think that I pulled a lot from my own experience. I think the best songs are, you know, come from a place of honesty, and so I tried to do that with the song. So it was a little bit of combination of both, which I think is beneficial.
And I think maybe one of the reasons why it relates so much is because the series made a point of casting actual like age-appropriate teenagers in the roles. They didn't search for something outside the age range, and I'm just curious, what was the on-set vibe like, getting to act amongst your peers, really?
It's so incredible. I've been homeschooled since like middle school, and so I never really had like a normal high school experience. Like I never had like a group of friends I would go to like football games with and stuff. So I always say that being on set with the people from High School Musical is my high school experience. I just feel like we're all best friends and we're all sort of this big family, and being in Utah filming like 6 months out of the year really feels like summer camp. So I'm really grateful. Yeah, it's a really great group of talented, kind, smart people.
Mm-hmm. And I guess there's lots of different production numbers in this that look very joyful and fun to put on. But what was sort of the most satisfying sequence to pull off for you in that series?
Yeah, the numbers are so much fun. I think my favorite was Truth, Justice, and Songs in Our Key. I can't remember which episode it's in, but I absolutely love that, and I love the song, and I feel like it's kind of like a different vibe. Like it's not very poppy or like, you know, top 40. It's just like kind of really unique sound. And so that was really fun, and obviously I love doing group numbers because I just get to hang out with everybody, which just doesn't happen in every scene. So I remember having a ball filming that.
And something that you got very early on was a season 2 renewal.
Right.
That came out right away. So in this series, we've sort of seen where we've got to opening night of High School Musical. Your character gets gets a very big opportunity at the end to carry her passions on in another place. And so I'm curious, for you thinking of Mimi, do you have like a wish list for season 2, or anything you hope to achieve, things that you want to do that are new for season 2?
Yeah, I don't know how much I can say because I know a little bit about what happens. But I guess all I can say is that if you like season 1 and you like the drama and the love and the music, there's going to be a lot more of that in season 2. So yeah, it's just more of the good stuff. That's all I can say.
Well, we're all going to look forward to that. It's a really fantastic show, so I'm glad that's going to continue on. And everyone who's out there watching at home, make sure you subscribe to Gold Derby, keep up to date with us through Emmy season. And Olivia, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.